Good evening. Welcome to the October 26, 2022 Board of Adjustments meeting. First up tonight, we have a roll call of members. Mr. Jake Joe Frown. Present. Mr. Eddie Krauts. Mr. Devin Graham. Present. And absent tonight are Mr. Brandon Bennett and Mr. Willie Robinson. Next, we have public comments. If anybody has any public comments for the Board of Adjustments, you can step up and speak now. Okay, hearing none, we'll close the public comment. Also tonight, if anybody has anything that they want to speak on any agenda item, if you haven't already done so, you can go up to Ms. Jamaica and sign a card asking to speak, or if you just have an opinion, whether you're for and against a particular agenda item, you can go sign the card, a green one for it, a red one against it, and you don't have to get up and speak. So you can do that now. All right, next up, entertain a motion for the acceptance of the minutes of the September 28th, 2022 meeting.
Motion.
Motion by Devin Graham.
Second.
Second by Eddie Krause. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Next up, entertain a motion for acceptance of the written decisions of the September 28th, 2022 meeting.
Make a motion.
Motion by Eddie Krause.
Second.
Second by Jake Joe Farron. All in favor? Motion passes. First up, we have tonight on a pretty busy agenda. We have a public hearing to consider the following variances. First up tonight, we have zoning review ID PZ 2976.22, partition of Willie Johnson property for Darla V. Bruno. Ms. Darla, you want to step up tonight and tell us what your situation is and what are the variance you're asking for, please?
I bought a little single-wide, one-bedroom mobile home that I'd like to place in my backyard in the rear of my property. I bought it back in January. It's actually sitting in my driveway. I didn't realize that I had to have a variance for it, for my daughter to live in.
All right. Give us a minute. Anybody got any questions for her right now? As of right now?
Not yet.
Not yet? All right. None yet? Okay.
I'm just reading the request here.
Okay, Ms. Darla, if you have a seat, we're going to open it up for public comment. And Ms. Jamaica's busy over there. We got some public comment on?
Okay. All right. I have Ms. Christina Weimer. Weimer. Okay, you can go up there and speak.
Okay, Ms. Christina, step up to the mic. You have 3 minutes to speak, please.
Hello, everyone. My name is Christina Weimer. I actually live on Larry Johnson Road, all the way towards the end. It is a single street. We do not have 2 lanes, and it is very complicated sometimes to get back in our down by our property in the back. I did notice that there was a trailer that was backed in, actually was blocking traffic for us to get back there one afternoon, and I am in opposition of this. I do not support an additional trailer to be placed on a already a lot that is very small in my opinion, but it doesn't matter. And I'm in opposition against it. I do not want it to bring the property value of my home down. And amongst other things, we have children that run up and down the street, and we just really don't need any more traffic.
Okay.
That's all I have to say.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We have Clyde Owens. He is in favor, or he's in support, but he doesn't want to speak.
Okay.
That is all for that one. There's no more after that.
Okay. Nobody else to speak? We'll close the public comment. I'm going to say this. I went out and did a site review over here, and the area is this kind of area. I know this lady that just got up and spoke, and and I can understand her point. They built some really nice homes down at this dead-end street. They have 3 or 4 2,600 or so square foot homes down there, really nice. But the area around it has a lot of new subdivisions. But this street here, particular street, was, in my opinion, conducive to a temporary second dwelling. I understand the hardship. She has a young daughter that needs a place to live, and a trailer sitting in a driveway that she can't hook up. You know, we've had these come before us before, and you know, I don't get a vote on it, but I would like to entertain a motion to have it with some stipulations. All right, Mr. Jake Jofreon.
I had a question for Ms. Darla about exactly where that mobile home's gonna be on the property. Looking at it here on the map. Did she specify what corner and what area she was
I
gonna
can show you.
Somewhere to the rear of the property
To the
line?
rear of the property. Shows a driveway coming in here, and the cement does like this.
And no variance needed on that rear property line? I assume.
No.
What a one-bedroom. And I know we have granted these before, when families come in here with a hardship, and a family member struggling in the parish like that, we try to help people out, you know, it does happen. You know, and one day it could be any of us, you know, and that's kind of the way we look at it, and we usually do some stipulations with that being said. Anybody else over here?
I'd like to ask Ms. Darla Bruno some questions about,
Can you
I
step
know
up, please,
you're
Darla?
showing over there, but can you show on the map, do you know how to use that projector? Can you show on the map where you like to place the home so the
Do I
public can
put a
see
map
it?
here?
Ms. Jamaica's gonna bring you one. Thank you, Jamaica.
Where am I at? Here's in the blue right here. Oh, I see. So there's your property.
So do I just point?
Yeah, just point, they'll be able to see.
Yeah, this is just kind of show people at home and on YouTube.
Oh, okay.
Et cetera, et
So,
cetera.
right here?
Right there. And you're aware of the 20-foot setback at the back of the property? So you had to be 20 feet away from that rear property line?
Yeah,
Okay.
so if you see over here, and this is why I didn't think I was going to have an issue.
Yes, ma'am, but
Is-
that might predate the ordinance, and I wouldn't
Right, and so
allow you to use it.
yeah, this is why I didn't think I was going to have an issue, because this is probably like 3 feet off the property line. So I talked to Mr. Owens, who owns this property, all of this property right here.
Yes, ma'am.
About putting it in my backyard, and I would need an 8-foot variance right there, and he did not have an issue with it. He's here tonight too, and he signed a green card. He and I had already spoke about it.
Yes, ma'am. No, I just want to ask, and another thing, we use the word temporary, I don't think we have a good ability to police temporary, but do you have a time frame that you'd like to keep the
I
home
mean,
there?
you know, what's the time frame for somebody to get on their feet? I don't know. I'm hoping it's not that long, but
No, again, I'm just asking. The reason we do that is I like to make sure things don't become rental properties later, that we can say that we want to remove the
Right.
property.
Well, I live
The
in the
objectives are to
front one,
protect the
so-
parish and the people.
yeah.
So,
The mobile home that you purchased, what's the square footage of it? I mean, the size of it, I'm sorry.
It's 15.9 feet wide by 59 feet long. It's just a little one-bedroom, one-bath.
It's, you purchased it brand new?
No, it was 5 years, it's 5 years old.
Okay.
The actual front porch is about 8 feet. It's got 8 feet of front porch on it, which
Gotcha.
is part
Yeah,
of
that-
59 feet.
Right, so it's really 51 feet, but if you include the
Living
porch, it's
area.
59.
Gotcha. Is this your daughter, ma'am, that,
And her child.
and her child? Okay. Understand.
Yeah, I mean, I know we grant these a lot. I don't want to use the word a lot because I don't want to set a precedent. We have granted these in the past. It's the lot size and the community that kind of bothers me. And, in Prairieville, one of the things that I like about Prairieville, I'm in the real estate business. I like the fact that we have a set of standards not to allow our rural parish to become like most of our new subdivisions with these houses on top of one another. So that's the fear there, my protection that I want to grant people. And of course, protecting neighbors. I do understand this, I just want to make sure I say that
Right,
clearly.
and where I'm at, and I get it too, that they have the nice houses all the way in the back.
Oh, no, I'm not worried about that, I'm talking about
I know,
They're
but
not
the
abusing
neighbor was
the
concerned about that
adjustment.
when she came up here, and I do understand that, but I have done a lot of improvements to my property
ma'am.
as well to keep it nice and neat, and I do live in the older section, which was there long before.
I'm from Prairieville, I remember that road I know that
Yeah.
road very well. I just like a time frame. I know that sounds so hard, I mean, that's what we've done in the past, we like to try to put time frames on things unless it's, 4 acres in Santa Hall. I don't know if anybody feels,
The back.
like trying to discuss a time frame or not.
Mr. Lance has a,
Yes, I have a comment. The variance that's being requested is to add in a secondary dwelling on the property, not for a variance, for the setback in the rear. That was not in the request. So if she needs that, she'd have to come back, because it was not advertised as that.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Okay.
that would make sense to me.
I was wondering about that, because after speaking with her, she didn't realize it was a 20-foot setback. But I think we also realized that she can fit it in there, it's just tight. So, you would
I
have,
honestly didn't think I was gonna need it because of the little shed that's already there, that's
Right,
like
yeah.
right on the property line, but I'm trying to follow the rules and guidelines as well, since it's something different.
okay.
My motion's not gonna be, it's gotta be somewhere Steve's might have to break a tile, maybe. My motion would be to deny it because I do not I don't believe that the property fits the second dwelling, the amount of space in the property and everything like that. And I understand the neighbor shed, that probably predates either predates or is legally placed, and I don't wanna set that as a goal either. So I would deny it, and wish the best.
I'm kind of for a temporary situation, maybe 5 years or less.
So you'd have to make a substitute motion to, and maybe if I may advise, to do a temporary, whatever years you want, and come back and readdress it at that time.
Okay.
I think we can do that, huh, Lance?
Put temporary on it? Yeah. you can
If we
place-
did a
you can-
temporary with a set period of time that she has to come back and revisit it and reassess the situation?
Yes, you can put stipulations on it.
Okay.
Like a two-year deal, maybe
All right, well, I'll pull mine back and let Eddie make a new one. Let's start with scratch.
Wait, I'm sorry, hold on, yeah, we're both talking.
Let me pull mine, it dies from lack of a second, we can make a new motion.
Okay.
I'd like to make a motion to accept providing, it would be on a temporary basis for 3 years or less, or that we would revisit this in 3 years or less, at a term of 3 years, and a stipulation that it could not turn into a rental property. And it, would have to be your daughter and grandchild, of course.
So I have a motion from Eddie for a variance for 3 years, with the stipulation that only her daughter lives in the trailer. Can I get a second?
I'm gonna second that motion.
Second by Jake Joe Frown. All in favor?
Aye.
I like it.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
For 3 years, they come back and visit.
Yeah.
And then have it removed.
Let's see, next up we have zoning review ID PZ 2985.22, Track FB, Estate of Zell D. Brown for Larry Schexnayder. Anyone here to represent that matter?
Yes, sir. My name's Randall Haddad. I work for Haddad Contractors. Larry Schexnayder is my client, and we're doing an addition on his business right now. I'm sure, as you know, we've applied for 2 variances. The first one was to request that on the east side of the building, the addition can protrude out in the same building line as the one that's there now, and remain 2 foot off the east property line. Basically just came out another 30 feet or so towards Highway 74. We submitted the plans prior to construction, and they were approved, so we went ahead and had the building. It's a metal frame building.
Right.
So, I mean, it's been fabricated and everything. It's sitting on a trailer in Tyler, Texas, waiting to come. And we went ahead and had the form and everything set, and some existing parking broke out and everything dug. We called in for our inspection in order to, a pretty poor inspection, and that's when this was flagged. On the other variance, talking about how we're only 60 foot off the center line of Highway 74, and I think the right-of-way required, from what we found out later, is 75 feet.
So you already got a building permit to do the addition.
Yes, sir. And to my understanding, it wasn't flagged and there were no comments on anything, so we, just business as usual, we assumed.
Right, yeah, that's what you do. You get a permit, you should be able to roll on.
Yes, sir.
All right, any questions from Mr. Haydad right now? Okay, Mr. Haydad, I'm gonna ask you to have a seat, and we're gonna open it up for public comment.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Jamaica?
No one signed up.
Okay, Mr. Haydad, you can come back. Close public comment.
And one more thing in addition, as far as the 2 foot from the east property line, their neighbor to the east has already given them a right-of-way, so I don't know if that helps, but
That's what I was gonna ask. I seen the right-of-way, and I understand the Harmony, the existing buildings like that. That's what I was gonna ask about what the right-of-way was really trying to address, but it's just to prevent something being built right next to it, more or less, right?
well, the initial right-of-way, they had a couple condensing units that were about, it's 2 foot off the
Yeah.
property line. So the existing ones that were there, they had to
Plugging along.
move years ago. Now the new owner ended up, they talked to him, their friends, and he gave them a right-of-way so that we could make things easier and have, we could have the existing condensing units move back on that side, because they were on the Highway 74 section, which that's where the addition is gonna be. So that's what that was initially about.
Lance, question for you. This falls under that one-time addition, what do they call it, out of...
Non-conforming?
Non-conforming?
No, sir, it wouldn't.
It doesn't?
No, sir.
No, it conforms in the zone.
It would be non-conforming if he...
It would be non-conforming as it is now, but once he adds on to that portion, he'd have to meet the requirement to the addition that he's doing. So the addition would have to be 5 feet from the property line, along with the setback from the center line of the road. You're correct, the existing building is non-conforming, it's there. I mean, it's allowed to stay there as long as it's...
Yeah, but I've ran across a couple of situations like this before, and there's like a one-time addition they give you on non-conforming.
No, the non-conforming is dealing with use, meaning that if the use was there and they can add on to a certain percentage based on use, not on the building itself or the setbacks. And it deals with the use of what they're using the building for.
Okay.
And they can add on a certain percentage based on the use. but they still need to meet the setback requirements.
Okay, thank you.
All right, let me do this one for you. You said the building's already fabricated, sitting in Texas, waiting to be delivered,
Yes,
right?
sir. And
It's
the
a
form
hardship.
is done, as well, and dug, and just no
Okay.
concrete yet.
Okay.
I think it'd be a hardship, they already got
That's
a permit
hardship.
too.
Yeah, no, I'm about to say, I'm just laying out these hardships.
Yes.
I don't like getting beat up on, doing favors, so expressing what the hardship really is. The building that you're kind of comparing it to, is it the shingle roof building, right down the road from it? That's the only other building I see that kind of goes that far forward. Is that the building you were comparing it to or no?
Comparing?
Yeah, I guess I missed something there. I apologize for that.
No, it's a metal roof building, but,
Okay,
yes.
I think the shingle building you're seeing is a two-story office for the storage
Yeah.
buildings right there.
no, I thought I heard something about a building pokes out that far further down. I thought that's what I was listening to, but, all right. And I don't think DOTD's gonna widen 74, because we pray a lot for it, but it hasn't happened, so I don't think the setback's gonna help us much. I don't know if there are any more discussions, I'll make the motion to accept as written.
Okay, motion by Mr. Devin Graham to accept as written,
Second.
second by Eddie Kraus, all in favor?
Aye.
The variance is granted. Thank you. Next up, we have zoning review ID PZ 2989.22, Lot 636, Pelican Point Golf Community, 11th filing, Breeze Point for Brad and Ashley Robbins. Hi, you want to step up and tell us what you got going on here?
Yes, good evening. I'm Ashley Robbins, and we're here to request a variance to add a rear porch to our existing home. When we built our home, we added some custom folding doors to the rear of our home, and we did not have much of an overhang to protect our doors from Louisiana weather. And we have already had to take the doors out and replace all the framing around it from it getting water damage. We have a tiered patio that is already there, that was with the home when we built it, and that falls in the setback, and we did not know that. We received approval from the homeowners association, the ACC committee approved it, our request for the porch, and we need like three and a half more feet to dig footings in order to build the porch. So it's like a total of 7.5 feet that will encroach in the setback that we're requesting for.
So I see it, and if I'm looking at it correctly, on your lot where your house is, behind you is a pond, is that correct?
Yes, we have a lake behind us, and we also have an additional 15 feet of servitude as well from the property line.
Okay, and on the other side of you is a golf course.
We're on a dead-end road,
Okay,
so we're on the very end of the dead end, and the golf course is, if you play golf, number 2 hole,
okay.
you've probably hit my
I
house.
don't play golf.
But, and then we have the neighbors on the left.
Yes. Okay, Ms. Jamaica, I'm gonna open it up for public comment. Anybody sign up?
Yes, I have Mike Keefe. He is in support, but doesn't wish to speak. And I have Cindy Keefe, who's in support and does not wish to speak.
Okay.
And that's it.
Thank you. We'll close the public hearing. Any more questions, comments? I got a comment I'd like to make. I see there's nothing behind the house. I mean, even though the lot line is there, it looks like there's more property. I'm sure probably the way the homeowners association works, where you have to keep the grass up between your property and the edge of the pond, right?
I do,
Yeah,
yes.
okay, so it's, I don't see it encroaching on any rear neighbors except the ducks in the pond.
No, I have a bad habit of knowing Pelican Point, not that I'm a golfer, but, 'cause I would hit your house if I was, on accident, pure accident. But I do understand how these lots are set up. So yeah, there's definitely, it's golf course on her side, it's golf course behind her. It's, actually, I remember when your house was built, and I don't think it's a problem here. I actually did speak to her father, who's a contractor, who's a friend of mine, and we kind of discussed what she was planning on doing. He kind of told me the hardship she was having with investing money into this project already. But again, I'll echo that there are no neighbors on this side. It is pure golf course and a lake really, so nobody's getting close to
I
it.
don't think anybody's coming close.
Yeah, I don't believe this could affect any neighbor at all.
Do you want to speak, Ed?
I mean,
Jake wanted to say something.
go right ahead.
Go ahead, Jake.
I'm in agreement with both of you guys and what you said as well. I don't see anything that's going to cause a problem anyways with the lake behind it and golf course on each side, so.
All right, give me a motion.
So I'll do a motion to accept as written.
Motion by Jake Joe-Brown, second by Eddie Kraus to accept as written. All in favor? Variance is granted.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, we have zoning review ID PZ 2992.22, track 4 for Michael E. Dixon. Mr. Beezy Sotiel up here to represent Mr. Dixon.
Yes, sir. Thank you. We're here to request a variance of parking requirement, paved parking. In the application, I tried to give you a good background of the hardship they had. It's strictly major hardship. They hired a contractor, JCG Construction, Mr. Flores, to repair their roof after the storm, and he proceeded to tear the roof down, but at a point in time when Michael and his mother were out of town, he decided to tear some walls down, exterior and interior, and that flipped everything to major construction, which put in the driveway requirement, but also they had spent $100,000 on him to do that, and the parish goes looking for a permit. He didn't get his permits, he didn't have a license, and he's no longer a resident of Louisiana. So she's hired another contractor who is here if you had any questions for him. But what they're trying to do is repair and reconstruct the inside rear portion of the building so they can get back open for business. And they've obtained all the permits, gotten a fire marshal approval, hired an architect to do plans, got everything done, and then was hit with the substantial construction requirement for the paved parking. And like in the application, I think I attached estimate for another $57,000 it'll take them to pave that. And no other reason is the hardship Mr. Graham has been delving on. That's what we have here. We have a serious financial hardship, terrible circumstances outside of their control, and we're just requesting a variance that as best I could see by my inspections across the street, across Black Bayou, I think there's a daiquiri shop that has paved parking. Next door to them along 44, there's paved, and no other neighbors. The three other neighbors to their rear on Black Bayou and across 44, no one has paved parking. So I think one of the standards, I guess in comparison, it wouldn't be a undue burden on their neighbors if they continue with the gravel parking under these circumstances.
So, Mr. Sotiel, are they tearing the walls down and starting anew, or are they gonna rebuild?
No,
So they're leaving the brick walls that are there?
They're leaving what they have there, and they're gonna go from there.
And everything inside has to be rebuilt to code and everything, now that they tore it all out?
That might be a better question for the contractor, and he is here, but I think the intent is in the rear portion, they have established walls. They're going to have to finish some inside and redo some of them, get the roof where it becomes water-free.
Yeah.
And make the repairs that way.
Do you know if your client, does he intend to reoccupy the building with the business that he had there before?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And that's the reason for just doing the rear portion, so they can get the business back running and hopefully get their business on, the
That's
clientele back.
The lawnmower parts sales or
Correct.
something, and repair, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah. Any other questions for Mr. Sotil right now? We'll open up for public comment.
No one signed up.
Okay, close the public comment.
Are you supposed to walk back and forth? All right, let's start my question.
All right, go ahead.
So, real quick, I do live in this area, I pass this every day, and I'd love to see this building come back to play and this business come back into play. I like our small Ascension businesses, being established and existing still. As far as the parking, I agree with you completely, sir, and I will say that on our maps, and anybody else in the public, when DOTD did the expansions, they did put concrete aprons, so really our goal is to, in my opinion, at least Lance can reinterpret this, how the zoning looks at it, but the aprons prevent that gravel from coming on the state highway kind of danger, and I think that's a positive. I do look at this as an existing building, an existing business, and I'd like to see it come back. The hurricane really set them back in on this and in life. And the contractor seemed to harm them more than any. So, I just want to say I respect what's going on here, and I'll continue our discussion.
You know, I agree a lot with you saying. This business been here before I was here, and it was a gravel parking lot, probably before Burnside was 4-lane, probably. I don't know. It's really a low-traffic area. I've been in that area for 30 years or so, and I've never really noticed a dust problem there because it's not a high-traffic area. And I think, you know, we should give this guy opportunity to get back in and get on his feet. I would really like to see a motion to leave it, accept it as it is, and to let him, as long as he has his lawnmower business there, that it stay gravel, and if he decides to rent it out or sell it or whatever, then it must become paved. It's just my opinion, so.
Well, I agree. I'm glad to see the business coming back. And it's really unfortunate, the circumstances that happened. Definitely some serious hardships there. I agree fully with both of you gentlemen. I feel just like you do, Steve.
Okay, good.
I'm gonna agree with everything you guys said as well. I love to see small businesses come back, especially after a storm. And we can definitely understand the hardship with the fraudulent contractor. That's a common thing I hear now going on. And so I'd like to make a motion to let him keep that as long as he owns the business. But if it is sold to any new business that tears that down, they must go by the guidelines and concrete.
Any new business that tears it down or occupies the building?
Or occupies it, both. Occupied, tears it down, new building, all of it.
Second that.
We got a motion by Jake, second by Eddie Kraus, to allow him to keep the gravel parking lot as long as he and his business occupy the building. All in favor?
Thank you, guys, appreciate it.
Thank you, Ms. Sotil.
Good luck.
Okay, next up, we have zoning review ID PZ 2996.22, Lot 185 of Keystone of Galvez, first filing, Part 4, for Gloria Baker Turner. Hi, Ms. Turner.
Hello.
Tell us what you got going on here.
I'm trying to build a storage building in my backyard. I know my setback is 20 feet off the property line, but that's almost all of my yard. I don't have a very large space to work with, so I'm just trying to get a variance so I can build a building. I take care of my mother-in-law, and my garage is consumed with equipment because I used to do home renovations. So it's consumed with equipment. I can't get her in and out the house correctly when it's raining, and I need to have somewhere to put all my stuff.
Ms. Turner, what size, what type of building are you?
I'm just gonna build a storage building.
Yeah, it's like a 10 by 10 or a metal building?
Actually, it's gonna be the same structure as my home because my neighborhood requires it. Everything has to match. So it's gonna match the house. And it's actually I have a 16 by 38 building that I had in mind to build back there. And it's gonna be, me and my husband are gonna do all the work because we used to do all that. And we're gonna get it approved through the HOA and through the parish for the permit office before we start to build.
Okay, any other questions? Ms. Turner?
No one signed up.
Okay, no one signed up. I'll close the public comment.
I'll start with, Ms. Turner, I know Keystone's kind of crowded and the property, I know a lot of people live in there, so I know the properties in there kind of well. I worry about the proximity. Your sides are great, but this 7.5 feet probably is the one that troubles me the most, honestly. And I know that you got the slant on the property, and that's why it's there. I don't believe the parish has any, besides setbacks, the parish doesn't have any drainage or anything in the back, correct?
No, but there is a drainage servitude along the rear of the property, 7.5 on each side. So it's 15 feet with 7.5 on her side and 7.5 on the other side.
You're saying like
Drainage
culverts underneath
servitude.
there?
I don't think anything's in there, I just think it's
It's just
there for
sitting there,
drainage.
okay.
I know some of the back of those houses have actual ditch behind them.
Yeah, that's what,
We don't have one.
through the different phases of Keystone, things have changed a little bit.
So the size is going to be 16 by 38, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
This is just out of curiosity, have you spoke with any of your neighbors about this? I know there's a yellow sign in the yard, so they
I
all know.
spoke to my neighbors on both sides.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
don't know the neighbor behind me.
Behind you, okay.
But the two neighbors on both sides, they don't mind me doing it.
Yeah, they all did receive certified letters per parish, so I just want to state
They
that.
did.
So let me ask you if there's any adjustments you can make to kind of remove the 7.5 foot? Is there any way, I see the 20 foot from the rear of your house. Just curious if there was any way to kind of get off the neighbor's property line in the back a little more? Could you make an adjustment or no?
Yes. How much more do I need to be out of there?
I like 10. I always go halfway at a minimum, in my opinion. And that's not a precedent, that's just my opinion.
I agree with that.
Okay.
So basically what you'd have to do in that situation is just kind of build it parallel, build it parallel to the fence instead of the house. And that should keep the 5 foot setbacks okay in the wrong side, so. You haven't applied for a permit yet?
No, I have not.
Or and no work's been done, it's just
No, I
grass?
have not.
Okay. And is there currently a shed back there?
I had one, I tore it down.
Okay,
It was raining inside of it, so I removed it to build a new one.
sounds like it's all not built. I'm picking.
You wanted to speak?
He kind of answered some of my questions I had, if she could make any kind of adjustments to kind of get you to 10 feet there, and if so, that sounds like something that's doable to get you moving along. It sounds like you haven't done anything yet
and you're going through the right steps to make sure you're doing right.
Yes, I ain't want y'all to come tell me to tear my building down.
Now the price of materials there, yeah. Anybody else? Eddie?
I appreciate you coming in to, do it properly, ma'am. Be surprised at how many folks do just the opposite. Makes it a lot easier. I feel the same way that these gentlemen do. I mean, if you're willing to shift it over and adjust it, make a motion?
Yep.
Okay. Obviously, you want to...
Oh, no, this is for Eddie Cross.
This is Mr. Eddie. No, you, Eddie.
I'll do it, I'll spearhead this one. I'll make a motion to grant a variance of 10 feet along the rear property line. That will allow you to, so you won't have that 7.5, you're just 10 feet away completely. That will also include any eaves on your building, so do plan for that. Not just your wall, but the eaves of the building. And that's it.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Devin Graham for a 10-foot variance. Can I get a second?
A second.
Second by Mr. Eddie Kraus, all in favor? Your variance be granted. Thank you, Ms. Turner. All right, next up, we have zoning review ID PZ 2997.22. Lot 2A of the Pyron partition for Robbie Gotro. Did I say it right, Pyron? Or Parent?
Oh, that's where I was here.
Yeah, right.
Excuse me. Thanks for allowing me to speak tonight. I really appreciate the opportunity. You guys, time away from your families, things like that. In 2010, I lost my job and I started a small little martial arts school inside Athletes in Motion. And from there, I saved every penny to be able to build my own school. And I saw this property and dreamed about it and saved about it. And finally, in 2019, we were able to purchase it. At that time, well, I teach jiu-jitsu, and jiu-jitsu is about getting the most out of what you have and who you are, no matter your size, that kind of a thing. So I wanted to build something for our community, and we built a small little strip mall, and also wanted to build a digital billboard on that property in order to help. We have a lot of small businesses that bring their kids to our school, and a way to help them to advertise. And in 2019, when I purchased it, that was part of my business plan, to be able to roll that out. I did submit our site plan that's dated in October 2020 that has a proposed billboard location. But like I said, I'm just a little martial arts school owner. So I had to build this building out first. Oh, all of a sudden I see myself on all the TVs.
Yeah.
Oh, you put this on for me. Sorry.
Don't worry, we got to see ourselves too.
Yeah. So, this is the first, major construction project I've ever done, first construction project I've ever done. So, from a budget standpoint, I had to get through, how I feed my family, which is my school. So, building that out first. Because of COVID and supply chain delays, labor delays, it pushed the completion of that project back. And I wasn't able to submit the permit for that until after this ordinance was passed in December of 2021. That granted, 2,000 feet between other billboards. And correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Brock, but I believe on one side there's one at 1,600 feet, and the other side of the property there's one about 1,400 feet. So we're kind of right there in the middle. As you see on the site plan, we ran utilities there so that it'd have electricity and internet capability in order to run it. So we've invested in that, as well as the engineering for the sign itself. And like I said, throughout the hardship of COVID and those delays, we just missed that permit deadline for this new ordinance that we didn't even know existed yet, to be quite honest with you.
Mr. Goodrow, how big is this?
Yes,
Is
sir.
this a billboard that you're gonna
Yes.
lease out space on?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
It is a billboard that I'm gonna lease out space. That's correct.
So it's a regular size, like
Yes, sir.
Lamar and Bayou Signs and all have?
Yes, sir. The difference between Lamar and Bayou Signs I'm not trying to lease up every spot on Airline Highway. This is just my property and one of,
Just another way to make some
just
income
do
besides the...
one billboard right there.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Just to clarify, it's not a double decker. It's a single billboard.
Correct.
Per the drawing.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Front and back.
Yes, sir. Also, there's the mobile home dealer that is on the south side of my property. So as you're approaching, there's no way to see our building there. So it's something that would draw attention. So obviously, I would advertise my business as well as our tenants that we have in there.
Yeah.
That is our priority. But absolutely, we planned on, leasing it out primarily to our Ascension Parish businesses. We have multiple Ascension Parish businesses that come to our location and have showed interest in already, wanting to utilize that. In addition, there's nothing digital on that strip, so when we have Amber Alerts or emergency, public safety emergency things, there's no way to notify that on one of the highest traffic sections of Airline Highway.
Right. That is true. Any questions?
So the only issue is the fact of the 2,000 feet. I mean, that's the only issue you're having with it,
That was the only,
That's correct, yeah, the distance between the signs, yes, sir.
and currently, we're at, or you're at 1,450? Is that right?
Mr. Brock was kind enough to come out there and run the tape on it on a hot morning. I was very appreciative for him doing that. Just for verification, you want to know you tried everything you could and checked every box.
Absolutely.
Okay, we have some, I might ask you, stand by and we're gonna open it up for
Absolutely.
public comment.
All right, I have Dow Waggis back, and he is in support, and he would wish to speak.
Good evening, guys. Appreciate everything you do, first off, because I know how hard it is to be up there and make these decisions, so certainly appreciate that. I chose to come speak in support of this. Robbie contacted me. I'm the councilman for the district. He's been nothing but professional, and I appreciate that. He understands that there are rules in place, and really, I think his story is just one of timing for me. I voted for this ordinance, so I want to see it upheld, but in this situation, I feel like, again, he was just a victim of timing. I mean, this hit the committee, I'm trying to think of it, the strategic planning, yeah, it hit strategic planning, it hit the council. I mean, it was passed in probably 5 or 6 weeks' time, so outside of us, I mean, we're very involved. We know what's going on, right? But a regular person working, running a business may miss something like this. So I feel like in this situation, I feel like he should be granted the variance. With that being said, I certainly appreciate what you guys do. We'll respect any decision you make, but I did want to speak on his behalf, and I appreciate your time.
So in your opinion, Mr. Wagesback, it's not gonna overclutter the area with this one variance, or?
No, I mean, look, if we passed an ordinance and there was 2 billboards in Gonzales and we were adding a 3rd, would you think differently about it? Maybe, but obviously there's plenty of signs between Gonzales, Purteville, and I think if you look at his strip mall, it's really nice. I mean, it's brick front, it's very nicely done, and I think this advertises his business and its tenants, so I feel like this is one that, I think it'll actually look nice the way he's doing it, so.
Okay,
All right,
thank you.
thanks, guys, appreciate it.
We have Mr. Paul Angrisano, and he wished to speak. He's in support.
evening, gentlemen.
Good evening.
You're getting two Paul Angersonis for the price of one tonight. Professor Gotro, when he came up, thank you for your time, and he meant that, because I lobby with another organization in the bigger building downtown, and when he first told me about some of this, I said, flood the room with green cards, get in there to support it. And the reason for that is I genuinely believe in the school. My sons and I have participated for about 4 years there, so I've seen Robbie go through a lot of growth and go through COVID. What he said about the sign and just the basic income, we need to support this school in every way that the parish can. Their motto is that they are a champion factory, and that is actually what they are. It's not an auto repair shop or some other thing where a few jobs here and there. I counted 38 kids in there tonight who were developing themselves. He has actually made state champions of my other two sons. This business makes better residents and citizens. So anything we can do to provide them a little bit of support, when we look at other things that happened, like during COVID, when they essentially said, you can't be within 6 feet of each other. I don't know if you participate in jiu-jitsu, you're within 6 feet of each other. As interest rates are rising, as monetary policy on the Fed and all these things are going to crunch family budgets, any buffer we can allow him, some arbitrary linear feet, is not something I feel like we should allow to impose on this local business that is such an important part of our community. So I just wanted to say that with all the discussion of hardship and all the other things that have been discussed tonight, I can't speak highly enough of what I've seen there over 4 years, and that anything we can do to support a local business at a local level, I think is the right thing to do for these guys. So, thank you.
Thank you.
No one else signed up.
Okay, we close the public hearing.
First of all, Mr. Gotro, I want to thank you for, all of your contributions to the community. You're impacting a lot of children, and you're doing some wonderful things here in our parish. And I personally feel as if we can't support you and support folks like you that are giving so much back, we're not doing our part. And I really want to thank you, Mr. Wagisback, for coming out and giving us your opinion on that, because that helps tremendously. And I think we need to give this gentleman, the variance. This is truly a hardship, and he missed the timing. I don't think it was his fault, and I'm in support of him. And I make a motion to accept as written.
Yeah, I agree with you, Eddie. I do understand the hardship. Everybody knows the delays and all the craziness going on during COVID. I definitely understand you missing the timeline because of that. Nobody was working, couldn't get any engineering done, all the fun stuff, so,
Hey, John, I'm going to say I echo Councilman Wagisback's idea. I like the ordinance personally. It did go through fairly quick. I think November strategic planning, voted on the council December, and the gentleman was just caught in the middle of the timing, so I respect everything that was said there. I actually did go to the property and visit with the guy and the gentleman, and he actually has conduit, he has invested money in this. This isn't a ploy at all.
Yeah.
And I do respect what he does for the community and the champions he creates. I need my nephews to become champions. So, yes, I definitely agree with this.
okay.
I would like to second Eddie's motion. You made a
Got a
motion.
motion by Mr. Eddie Cross, second by Mr. Devin Graham, all in favor?
Thank you.
Thanks, Brandon. All right, I think we're down to the last one finally. Okay, zoning review ID PZ 2999.22, lots R2 and R3 for the Fieldhouse AP LLC. Anyone here to speak on this matter? Step up to the mic, tell us what you got.
How y'all doing? We'll try to get out here early. I know we're hungry. It's actually two lots that's subdivided down the middle. Currently, the way I have it constructed is as one lot, but it's currently zoned crossroad commercial, which is only allowing me for a 10,000 square foot maximum floor area. So I'm assuming with the two lots, that would be 20,000 between the two, but with the type of facility and design that I have, it's all interior training space. I need more space than what the variance would allow, so I'm here to get a variance on trying to be able to have more floor square footage for a bigger building.
This is like an indoor baseball facility?
That's the plans, yes, sir.
Okay.
I see the two lots are side by side. Are they both the same business? Is this?
Yeah, it's gonna
all
be one
included in
business,
one?
yeah. It's
One
total of 3.9 acres, with, that's both the lots included, it'll consume both lots,
So you undividing the lot?
eventually.
Yeah, that's actually, that was one of the things I kind of was wondering, trying to figure this. I live near this again, and, so I guess everything on 44 is near me now. But, I was gonna kind of address the fact that you do have a property line. I don't know if you were gonna unsubdivide, and it's not part of this agreement, this conversation. I respect that, but, just wanted to give you a heads up on those.
Yeah.
I do like this. Again, this is one of those things where, I feel like it's, especially in Ascension where baseball is a key sport. I think it's one of these things that are gonna be a positive for the parish. I know we got, most of our questions coming to the public here, and I don't know if there's anybody here to speak. I know Steve's got to open it and all, but, and the 10,000 number, I get that on Crossroads, but anyway, positives are coming from my side, so I'm telling you.
Okay, all right. Anybody else for open public comment? All right, don't think we got somebody wanting to speak? All right.
I have Miss Lisa Stevens. She's not in support, but she does not wish to speak. I'm going to have Miss Rebecca Parks, and she's here to speak. She's
Can Ms. Parks step up?
I'm assuming this is not going to, it is constricting me to 30 minutes. Okay, I think it's a great idea. I think it's a wonderful project, and I think it's going to bring great tourism to Ascension Parish. I just don't think it's the right area for it for a number of reasons. I'm going to try and be brief. I got so many things. The sign, by the way, that was put out there, someone intentionally kept knocking it down, and then when it would get picked up back again, they'd turn it backwards. It was quite convenient, and that's how I was alerted to this whole thing.
I actually had to stop a few times and put it back up right.
Yeah, somebody was messing with it, but anyway.
That happened.
I do hope that everyone here knows about the Marathon agreement. Up to 60 feet from the back of that property, you can't do anything pretty much. And also, Marathon has stipulations on infrastructure. There's a certain amount of clearance requirements. They have to oversee everything. You have to get to their area operations foreman before even working on construction, but I'm sure you've gone through and found all that, which takes away a lot of the property. Pit Stop, when it was built, changed our drainage drastically in this area. I am 2 lots away from the proposed structure. And when Pit Stop was built, our drainage actually changed directions on us. It usually went towards 44, and all of a sudden it started going backwards. So to correct this, they came and dug a ditch that I could stand in up to my waist, and that solved the problem for a while. That is filling in now, so we do fear that having all of this fill, all of this concrete is going to greatly affect our residences behind there. I want to show y'all something if I can. Is this how we do it? I don't know how to do this. My property is pretty much the same amount as the proposed area. This is my property right here, and this is the proposed area. There's a little bit more width on the front, I think, just a smidgen more. But you'll see our house. We have a large barn. We have several structures, and this is close to 10,000 square feet. He's proposing to put 4 times that on this property. That's a lot, guys. I mean, I think it's a great idea, but I just don't think it's a great idea for here. One last and the most important issue. When Pit Stop was built, several accidents started happening, most of which are taking lives. Right here, where you come out from pit stop, and this is a very, very crude drawing that I have here, so please excuse it. Most of the people who are coming off of 44 are coming really fast. When they make this curve, them coming out of pit stop that are, traffic stop, this is very important. This is like, not just my opinion, this is facts and this is people's lives.
We'll give you a little bit more time.
Appreciate it, and I mean, you need to hear this too. So obviously, when pit stop was created, nobody knew that this was going to happen. We thought it was a great idea. We were all for it, but people have lost their lives right here coming left out of pit stop. They can't see. The light's right here is so close to the light. They go to take a left-hand turn, and this turn lane is wonderful, but if you got a green light, you cruising. It's a long, long turn lane, guys. You get up a lot of speed. You make that curve. These people can't see them, and many, many fatalities have happened already. They've happened on the other side also, which indicates to me this is just something that's too close to that light. We have horrible traffic down here. The light, being able to turn now has alleviated some of it, but it used to, and it still does during peak times, back up almost to my driveway. What I'm afraid of is with this proposed development, I'm afraid that there's going to be organized sports happening, so there's going to be many, many families, in excess probably of 50 at a time, that maybe are partaking in a ball game. They're going to be coming in at the same time. They're going to be leaving at the same time. There's going to be a lot of anxiety to try and get out of here, and people are going to be making left turns. When they go to make left turns, guess what? This person right here who was going 15, 20, 30 miles, I can tell you, I live over here, and they go in excess of 60. They're over the speed limit by the time they get to my house. They're going to be going rapid rates right here, and there's certainly going to be fatalities, and it's going to be children as well as adults. I'm asking you guys to think about this. I think it's a wonderful opportunity for Ascension Parish. I just don't think it's a wonderful location for it. I've kind of warned y'all about what I'm seeing firsthand on a day-to-day basis, and I mean, this is daily or weekly that I'm seeing these wrecks. And I mean, goodness forbid that there's lawsuits against the parish, because I've been up here warning you guys that this is unsafe, and then someone loses their child and they come up against the parish or even against you guys personally because you guys have been warned this is not safe, it's not a good decision. Please protect our homes and the lives of our citizens, please. Please
Thank you.
Thank you for giving me that.
Okay. So you want to come back up and give a rebuttal and...
Well, I certainly can't control the way people drive and who pays attention to who's turning in what lane. I know some of those accidents have happened. I live right around the corner as well, prior to the turning lane being added on Germany going on to 44, so it's been widened since then. My property's 300 feet wide. My turning lane's going to probably be 200 feet further away from where pit stop is, which will allow a lot more time from where her traffic light is, where the issues are coming out of there. I come in and out of pit stop every single day, so I am aware of the traffic situation right there. The reason I chose that area of the property that I own for this type of establishment is because it actually isn't a great area as far as the amount of residents that's within a 7-mile radius of people who are actually going to leave their home and travel with their children to come train. I'm not going to have ball games. There's not going to be any sports games that's going to be in here. This is for individual training and lessons with a max of a team at one time, maybe 11 to 12 kids is what most people have on a team these days. That may be coming in and out trying to get somewhere for a certain time. Rainy days obviously is why it's needed the most in the parish, because we do get a lot of rain down here. But other than that, that's why I chose this area for it. She's a few houses away, which I don't know if I had her on there as far as the adjacent properties that was listed, but I do respect her concerns and her opinion on how she feels about the situation.
Any questions, comments, motions?
We got some more. I don't have a light, this is I'm on, but, all right, there we go. Can we change the size any? Yes, or no?
It is movable. Nothing's been built yet, so it's,
Okay.
I do have stipulations for that. It just depends on where I have to take from. That's something I'd have to work around.
Use it okay with a turn lane, do you mean just entrance? You're not putting a turn lane on?
No, there's already a turning lane
Yeah.
that they've added on
Yeah, that's okay.
931 since.
Okay. But your entrance and pit stops on this drawing we have, they're similar, they're close, right?
No, so pit stop's closer to the corner of 44, where they come out of, which runs into the turning lane, where a lot of people do pull up, and it's usually backed up at a red light right there because of where they stop. But my entrance is gonna be closer to the other side of the property as opposed to,
on this drawing I have.
there's two entrances.
There's two, that's what I was
So
wondering.
I don't know how many feet are between the two.
Yeah.
So.
We're not in that construction business, I'm
Yeah.
asking questions to clear
Me neither.
things up. And then on the back, again, we're only doing the building, it's just for my information. In the back of the property, it shows like a,
That's a future field for.
Future field, okay.
Yeah, later on purposes. He
Yeah,
just
so-
drew that on what it would look like if we chose that, which we are aware of the Marathon pipeline with
Yes, sir.
issues. I had the letters from them on that, so.
Okay, and I just-
We're
that's all
well
for
away from
clarity.
the property.
it's a big building. I mean, I live, again, like I said, anyway, and I do go to Pit Stop because they got great pizzas. And, so I do know how that intersection is. DOTD did just invest a ton of money in that area, so I don't think there's gonna be any other future investments there.
That corner lot on the corner of 44 across from Pit Stop, I think was recently purchased as well, so I
Yeah,
don't know what
it's,
the plans for that is, but.
Waiting to see what that might be one day. Let's talk about building size then. Is there, what ideals do you have that you could shrink it if possible?
I'd have to sit back, I'd have to go back to a drawing board. I actually started this project 2.5 years ago prior to COVID.
Yes, sir.
Had everything in plans with banks. I was fixing to pull permits and submit, and COVID happened, and then within 6 months, materials doubled. So that set me back a little bit. It's independently owned and operated. It's not a franchise that's coming in here and building a big operation. This is strictly something I'm doing out of passion for the kids in our parish. I grew up here 36 years in Ascension Parish, graduated across the street, so,
You like what they're doing over there?
so far, I love it. I see all my friends are crying and boo-hooing about the destruction, but growth is a good thing to me. So size is comparable. Majority of it's height too, but square footage, I may be able to tack some, probably honestly no less to be able to financially support the building. I'd probably have to stick at minimum 38,000. And that's
really not-
off the top of
not
my
a lot.
head, it's not gonna be a ton, yeah.
So I like it, but it's a training facility, so I like that. I don't have kids, but I do hate the sunlight. I'm getting older and it's hotter for some reason, so I'll tell you that.
I have 4, so I have a long way to go in that aspect of life.
That's pretty much it for me, because the only question here is the size of the building. We can't control what kind of business is being built there or anything else. The only thing we have ability to adjust is the size, which says 10,000 per lot.
And unfortunately, baseball just takes a lot of space. You can't train, or the biggest part of this, as you can see on the plans, it's got a complete indoor field for practices for baseball and softball purposes. So being able to throw the proper distances for proper training is why it accumulates so much space.
Okay, that's all I got.
All right, Mr. Jake Joe Frown.
I just had one question. What are your peak hours when you're operating in this facility?
Majority of the time, due to school and the age that we're going to attract, is probably going to be from 4 to 9. Other than out of school, summer hours is going to be all day, probably a 10 to 8.
And I'm just thinking, out of safety wise, that is going to be a lot of traffic coming in at 4 and 5. It is a great facility for the children and the parish, no doubt about it, but I mean, I'm sure you know that there's going to be a lot of traffic coming in and out.
I hope. I mean, I don't know, but I hope.
Well, I mean, for your business, I hope it
Yeah,
is
from a
as
business
well.
standpoint, yes.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
yeah.
And I know it's a lot to ask to have somebody out there to try to help get your people in and out of there, you know?
Yeah.
But those kind of things tend to help. You see people directing traffic, trying to get in and out on these businesses because they operate at peak hours with bad traffic, and they're trying to keep it safe, you know, which is a good idea. They request the sheriffs to come out there to help in and out, so,
Which would really only be coming in as opposed to out.
yeah, I mean, that's just an idea to help, you know. And hopefully you do have a lot of business
Yeah,
there, you know?
I would hope.
That'd be a good thing for the, I don't have kids either, but that'd be a good thing for the parish, I believe, so. That's all I got.
Let me get one more. This might be something that, with both of y'all can answer, but I'm gonna address it to Lance first. Is this the footprint, or is this, I'm seeing the word mezzanine. Are we counting the mezzanine in this, or is it just?
We're counting total square footage.
So would that include the mezzanine?
Yes.
Yeah.
So what's the
Which up-
footprint, the concrete?
You don't know either.
You might make a liar out of me on that one.
That's what I mean, an estimate. How big do you think the mezzanine
I want
is?
to say upstairs, I'll say upstairs, but the mezzanine area with the office and whatnot is close to 3,500, so,
Okay. To me, it kinda,
yeah.
I know we count square footage, and I respect that, it does change the footprint.
Yeah, the footprint's not 40,000
Yeah,
square
that's-
feet,
Right.
it's 37 or so. Any other questions, comments, motions?
I will say the only thing that I do object to is that once we grant this, you build a building and respectively, if something happens in 5 years, 50 years, this building can be used for any other use that our zoning will allow. So we are granting a forever building.
Yeah, I've seen that happen.
I mean, I pray for your success, because I love Ascension Parish businesses being successful, and all Louisiana business.
When you invest this kind of money in a building, you have a plan B and a plan
Yes,
C,
sir,
trust
I
me.
agree. But my fear is that there is an ability for this to be something else, you know, later on in life, and Crossroads allows things like that. So that'd be my only reservation, gentlemen up here, that I would have.
Yeah,
So, let me just throw that part out there. The footprint part, I think, does kind of adjust some ideas in my head too, though. That's it for me.
yeah, I'm kind of stuck on this one myself because, you know, I've seen other businesses, one of them being a baseball academy, go out and now it's, I don't know what it is. But it started as a lumber yard, and then it got closed in, and now a baseball academy, and now it's a cabinet shop or something, I don't know, boat repair. It's just putting a building there that, I don't know, having a tough one with this one. But I don't get the vote, so y'all gotta make a motion.
You like that, huh?
Thank you, Mr. Dillon.
I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna put some pressure on Lance. Lance, I see that the parish likes to accept it, you don't see any future problems?
No,
You know
I
this area is
don't. No. Basically, he's going to be required to do a drainage study, he's going to be required to do a traffic study, he's going to be required to do all those things. If the use does change, if the change is I guess, a significant change, he would have to go back and do another traffic study for it. The drainage study would have been done because of building and all that, but all those things would have to be done, and it's done by trips and levels of service, so I'm not going to sit here and say he's going to be required to put a turn lane or any of those things. It just depends on what the traffic count shows is that. So-
Okay.
So when they go to traffic, do they do a traffic count, is it affected by square footage, type of business?
It's going to go by the type of business,
Trips
what size trips and the number of trips that he's generated. And also, he's going to be required to get a state permit, but just because the state's going to give him a permit and state that things that he needs to do, we still have the authority to make him do something different. So the state can say, everything's fine, but our policy states that he needs to do something, we trump the state.
Okay.
All right, but I lost your name. What was your name?
Cody.
Cody. Oh, do you currently own this property?
Yes.
So your hardships that you invested in this property already?
I've got a little bit in it.
And you paid for design plans? I'm in construction, I understand that, so I
Yeah.
understand that financial hardship as well. And of course, Lance's zoning policy, not picking. Zoning has a limited on the 10,000. I'm gonna do something here, but I'm gonna let Eddie and Jake really spearhead this one. But I do want to say that I think this is a fantastic opportunity for everybody in Ascension Parish, and I hope you success. I agree that it would be much cooler on the airline. There's a private ballpark on the airline now that does something similar. I'm sure that you understand that business.
We play there currently.
And believe it or not, that road's just as dangerous as this area, 65-mile-an-hour traffic, and when Mongo puts fireworks there, and we all have baseball games, it's hell.
Yep.
There's no other way to describe it.
Coming across the bridge.
That's it. I really do like this project, and I hope success here. But Jake and Eddie are gonna take it from here.
Sounded like you was ready to make a motion, man.
That's all right. My motion is to let them motion.
No pressure.
Not you, Mr. Jay. I think it's a good thing for the parish. Like Devin said, it could be anywhere in the parish and still be just as dangerous or just as much of a situation, regardless of where it's at. If he's abiding by all the laws, if it's a good thing for the parish, for the children, if it's a good thing per Mr. Lance, what he's saying, and that the parish would still have control of what happens if there will be another owner, because that'd be one of my concerns too, Steve. It sounds like we should have a good foothold on what's to become of it if it does go that route, which I would hopefully. Much success for you. So with that said, I'm gonna make a motion to accept as written.
Okay, I have a motion to accept as written by Mr. Jake Jofferon.
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Eddie Kraus, all in favor? Motion passes.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
Thank you.
All right, next up we have, is there any old business?
No old business, no, sir.
All right, in new business, we do have, just FYI, we have a person in the pipeline for, to take our empty seat on the board, and he is scheduled to be on the November Personnel Committee meeting, so we may have a new member for next meeting, or December, or they might not accept him. I don't know. I think they will. All right. Anyway, that being said.
Hold on.
Oh.
I'm sorry, I do have something. Just a reminder that next month, our meeting will be November 30th. That will be the 5th Wednesday of the month, and not the the 4th, because it fell on Thanksgiving week, so we did move it back, and we do have one item on the agenda.
Just one?
Yes, sir.
Too late for any more?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. All right, it'll be a long night anyway, so. All right, well, I'm sure Ms. Jamaica's gonna send us out a reminder text, so we don't all show up here with no Jamaica. All right, I entertain a motion to adjourn. Motion to adjourn by Mr. Devin Graham.
Second.
Second by Mr. Eddie Kraus, all in favor?